Welcome, everyone. This is our second, our Q2 event. What to expect today? So today the focus is on process. Process needs to catch up to technology, and technology now enables us to not rely on the old school linear English source to non-English target and English as a pivot language for machine translation processes, right? So that's what to expect today.
So in Australia, they call the shops the bars. So when people go to the store, they go to the milk bar, which of course, the first time she told me she was going to the milk bar, my eyes were square. Like, what are you talking about? Now, in the US, we call it the grocery store. In the UK, it's a corner shop. In New Zealand, it's go to mixed businesses. So, just very, very different expressions.
So we're really excited to be here and share with you some of our insights about localizing for museums. I wanted to show you this QR code. This is an example. This is a solution we provided to the Chicago Botanic Garden for their 50th anniversary. If they wanted to, at any point during, after this was produced, they could add another language. They could add additional QR codes or audio tours in other languages, other multimedia that visitors can experience, and of course, it saves space.
This is the COVID-19 exhibit in the California Science Center. And here our main challenge was terminology. Terms like COVID-19, for example, people couldn't agree if this was a masculine or a feminine term. And the solution was tons of research and, of course, listening to the experts in the target language.
78% of respondents wish their company would provide more localized experiences than it currently does. Only 12% of respondents said that their digital touchpoints are fully multilingual. I think it's becoming clear that you actually have to put in the time and effort, whether it's in museums and in-person experiences or whether it's online, taking the time to make sure that they all have the same experience, localized experiences, but the same quality and the same breadth of content available to them.
We are strategic partners to our cross-functional stakeholders, and we want to have a voice. We make sure we have a voice, and we use that voice very, very often. So what happened in this particular case was that we were brought in to the table on day one during the brainstorming sessions with marketing.
You elevate the conversation when you remove the word translation and you use the word international copy, and all of a sudden it becomes an Italian copy or a French copy or a Japanese copy. And that really changes the perception of the service you provide within your own organization.
When we think about translation, the perception is that the translation can only be as good as the source is, not better. But what we want to do with our international copy was basically to not only elevate that copy, but if we could create something that was even better than what we are creating here in the United States.
We started building out what was to become Indesign. We built an entirely new text engine that was based on, you can see here on the left, which was Genko Yoshi. It's like a paper that was based on squares, like where you would write kanji into. And on the last picture with the purple with the butterfly was to allow a very famous Japanese designer to design our box, because the box that Indesign US had used in Japan, everybody said it was a moth, not a butterfly like it was supposed to be, and that it wasn't pretty. It's easy to kind of get stuck in the process that you have and to not really be paying attention to what's out there because we're all so busy trying to get stuff done in our own company. But the reality is we have to innovate or die. You can't necessarily take an English base and then just localize it and translate and think it's going to work in that country. So that's really where Amanda and I started, putting our heads together and saying, we have to think differently.
We were able to communicate to stakeholders at the company what we kind of knew intuitively, that just translated text across designs was not a culturalized content offering going to make. And so this is where Priscilla and I were really able to peel back the layer on what would a culturalized content offering look like for Creative Cloud Express. And we really define that it's a complete local consideration to every aspect of design. So we look at color, we look at iconography, we look at tone, we look at seasonal moments within the regions to create these fully bespoke culturalized offerings.
Thank you so much.